Friends. Once upon a time, in a crystal palace far, far away, there lived a wizard prince called Orko. He provided everything for himself because he lived on his own. He used his magic to do all the cooking, cleaning, and household chores, and yet he still had time to relax. However, one thing bugged him more than anything else. He was very lonely. He wished he had someone to keep him company, or be his friend, because ever since his parents died, he had been wishing someone would live with him in his grand castle. One day, however, his wish came true. Orko was sitting on his crystal throne feeling very bored and lonely, when all of a sudden he heard 3 loud bangs on the grand castle door. Orko floated all the way downstairs. When he answered the door, he was surprised to discover a straw Moses basket carrying someone crying inside. A baby! Orko leaned forward to take a closer look and gasped gently in shock. It was a baby lioness cub with beautiful golden fur. Orko grabbed the basket and carried it back into the castle, not forgetting to shut the door using his magic, of course. Orko floated all the way upstairs, carrying the basket bundle in his arms, and brought it to his throne. He gently lifted the baby out of her basket and wrapped her in the soft baby blue blanket. At once the baby stopped crying and gazed with her beautiful little eyes at her new caretaker. "Shh, it's okay. Orko's here. I'm here to protect you. I'll be—" Then suddenly he had an idea. "I know! I'll be your big brother!" This delighted the baby some more, and she hugged her new brother. "And I'll name you Faraha. Faraha, yeah, that's a nice name." Throughout the next few days, Faraha developed a strong bond with her brother. At the baby stage, she and Orko followed a fun routine which they held every day. Every morning, Faraha crawled all over Orko in his big, soft, silky, king-sized bed, gently waking him where the bright sun shining in tiny spotlights through the crystal walls. After Orko had brushed his teeth, which are covered by his shadowed face, they go downstairs for breakfast. Orko has his porridge and Faraha has her porridge. Orko feeds Faraha every little morsel, and she never spits it out. She's never a fussy eater. Sometimes Orko likes to pretend the spoon is an aeroplane, or a bus, or a taxi going into a tunnel and down the hatch. Faraha loves her porridge, and Orko had boiled it especially in his large black cauldron in the palace kitchen. He is a good cook for a surprisingly small wizard. After breakfast, the two friends head outside for some fresh air. Orko would carry Faraha on his shoulders as he floated across the forest, showing Faraha every falling autumn leaf, every ladybird crawling on every blade of grass, every beam of sunlight shining through the trees. Orko and Faraha would stop for a rest in the meadow. They would lie in the grass and look up at the beautiful pink and yellow sherbet sky. Orko would produce some bubble mixture from his sleeve and entertain his baby sister by blowing bubbles, some large, some small, into the air. Orko and Faraha would spend ages trying to pop them, and Orko would float around with Faraha on his shoulders trying to catch them, as if they were fairies fluttering in the sunshine. After their time outside, they would go back inside to Orko's throne room for a rest. Orko would sit on his throne with Faraha on his lap, and he would stroke her while telling stories and singing songs. His voice would be gentle for a squeaky one as he told every tale and sung every ballad. Faraha's ears would fill like a handbag with tales of pixies, elves, lions, and tigers, and songs about horses giving cart rides and frogs hopping on lily pads. Faraha loved these stories, and even as a baby she sampled every one of the morals Orko told her, not like some certain ones from a certain mythical planet from a certain muscular warrior called He-Man. Okay, I'll stop talking about him. Anyway, Orko had a room where he can relax when he'd done all the work for today. It was full of soft toys, pillows, cushions, and blankets. He called it his relaxation room, and, just like a mother leaves her children in front of the TV while she does some household tasks, Orko leaves Faraha to play with all the toys while he went off to do some cleaning around the palace sometimes. When he came back in, they would always play hiding. Faraha would hide from Orko, and he will try to find the young cub. He would hear some giggling and cooing coming from underneath the pile of soft toys. Moving all the toys out of the way, he would be delighted to see his little sister underneath, smiling sweetly at her. He would pick her up and cuddle her gently, saying, "You are my beautiful little princess." Faraha and Orca would spend the rest of the day playing together in the relaxation room. Orca would read Faraha a board book about either numbers, colours, animals, or the alphabet when she got too restless, and they would play peekaboo together. As long as Orca had Faraha by her side, nothing seemed impossible. At dinner, Orca would eat a plateful of roast chicken and vegetables, while Faraha ate a plateful of mashed up spinach. Orca used his imagination to help Faraha see the mashed up spinach as nature's porridge, which he fed to her with great ease. Faraha loved the spinach as much as she loved the porridge, and sometimes she was given a bite of Orca's chicken. Orca was very kind to her sister, as any kind wizard should be. Then after dinner they had a bath together in their beautiful crystal-coloured bathroom. The bath would be filled with silky bubble bath, and both of them would play amongst the bubbles, Orca with his clothes on, though he uses magic to keep them waterproof. The bathroom walls are decorated with glow-in-the-dark stars, and along with the usual yellow rubber duck, there were toys of whales, dolphins, and boats. Combining his magic with the bubbles, Orca would conjure up illusional images of whales, pirate ships, and dolphins for Faraha to see, and sometimes a dolphin would swim past Faraha and tickle her under her chin. When it was time to get dry, Orca would use his magic to change back into his ordinary velvety golden trimmed cloak and pink scarf, as he dried Faraha like he would dry a dog dry after its bath. Sometimes Faraha would get all fluffed up, making Orca giggle. He would get out a soft bristle brush and brush Faraha's fur so gently it felt like a fairy had touched her with her soft, silky hands. With her fur sleek and smooth like a china figurine's skin, Orca would carry her all the way to bed just in time, as the sun went down over the land. Orca would tuck Faraha beside her and read her one final story, mainly a fairy tale, before kissing her good night, using his magic to turn out the light, and falling asleep in the safe darkness of the palace beside her.